It's a US based company, and it having a franchise in Saudi and Pakistan as well. So we are offering multiple training and training services. We are offering technical qualified trainings. We are offering advisory service of certification, ISO certification, and technical expertise. We are offering electrical safety training and consultancies. So I would like to introduce Mr. Wasif, who will be the moderator of and who will be the lead trainer of this webinar, and he will formally introduce himself and carrying on. And we will taking your question. You can ask question within the seminar as well, and you can ask question in the end of the seminar. There will be a 15 minutes Q&A session will be held after this session. So what will you, it will be recommended if you will having any question, do write with yourself and share us, and Mr. Wasif and I will be facilitating you. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Wasif.
Thank you, Ahmed, for introducing. Hi, welcome all to our series of webinar, which we have conducted since 3 or 4 months. And in that string, we are conducting now a very focused webinar on Road to CSP, which is NFP electrical safety, highest qualification available. This webinar will be around 1 hour, and it is very detailed today. So we have a time slot available. We might go above 1 hour, and so if you people allow, and if there is more questions there to clarify, because this is the first kind of certification program and first type of training which will be provided. So there will be many questions I believe will be coming from your end. So I will request that you can ask question in the chat box, and once I completed all my slide and presentation, we will take questions after that. Meanwhile, you can enter your question in the chat box, and we will give you time to open your mic to ask any question. Meanwhile, during this presentation, please mute your microphone so that there is no echo available and it runs smoothly. About the speaker, my name is Wasif. I'm Certified Electrical Safety Compliance Professional, CSCP, from NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, United States of America. I'm Certified Asset Management Assessor from WPI in Australia. Certified Practitioner in Asset Management, CPM, from Asset Management Council, Australia. I have done lead auditor certification courses in energy management, quality, environment, and lineup are in ISO 45,000 and asset management, which is 55,000. These are planned for next 2 to 3 months. My basics are my bachelor's in electrical engineering, focused in electrical power system with master's in energy management. Some area of interest are electrical safety, asset management, energy management, and process optimization in transmission and distribution sectors. I have more than 10 years of experience in different utility sectors in Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, in different technical and managerial positions, and have conducted numerous training sessions in Saudi Arabia and also in Pakistan from the platform of HSEQ professionals. So I hope those 31 people who have joined might be an electrical engineer, maintenance manager, safety manager, sys manager, safety professional consultants, and those who are starting their journey in this beautiful field. If you have the responsibility of electrical safety program, implementation and establishment and audit, or if you are seeing electrical engineers, maintenance engineers, contractors, then this webinar is very much which will going to fulfill your need and expectation, I hope. Today agenda, we will be starting with international certification in the field of electrical safety domain. Then we will talk about CSCP, which is one of the highest qualification available. Then we will talk about the roadmap to CSCP, advantages and benefits of having CSCP under your belt, and how to crack CSCP in the first attempt. Moving forward, we will be discussing how HSCQ Professional will be your partner in this road to CSCP. Starting with the topic international certification in electrical safety domain. So there are a variety of international certifications available. It depends upon in which area you are in geographical location. If you are in Europe, if you are in North America, in South America, or in Asia, there are different type of electrical certifications available. Right now, because our most of clients are in MENA region, and MENA is mostly influenced by US certification and qualification, including Pakistan and India as well in the domain of safety. So I will be talking about the highest certification offered by United States of America, which is highly accepted and well admired in Canada and as well in Middle East. There are 3 certifications right now issued by NFPA, which are Certified Electrical Safety Compliance Professional, CSCP. Another one is Certified Electrical Safety Worker. Third one is Certified Electrical Safety Technicians. Throughout this webinar, we will be talking about all 3, but most focus will be on CSCP because it is the highest certification available. And I will tell you through this webinar, its demand, how many people are currently certified people are available, and how you will going to implement the electrical safety program. What are the benefits throughout this webinar? We will be talking about this whole thing. One of the frequently asked questions which I come across: why certification? Why people are nowadays talking about certification? Go for NIBOSH, go for CSP, go for ASP, go for Prince2, AMP, RMP, CAMA. Why? Because today organization is demanding evidence of competency from professional in their practice specialists. If you are a project manager, okay, you are a project manager, but you will see a job requirement which says that, okay, you have 5 years or 7 years of project management experience. And if you have a PMP, that person with 3 years of experience qualified for that position. Or if there are many people competing for the same post, one has a NIBOSH, one has a CSP, both having a similar experience, but the company will going to prefer CSP over on any other qualification. I will not say that it is above NIBOSH or something. I will not going to compare, but these are the certifications which have an impact on your resume, and it make you stand out of the crowd. If a person does not have any certification, okay, he have a 5 year or 6 years of experience, he might be doing very well throughout his career. He has been meeting organizational objectives and his business objectives. Additionally, he has certification, he is more valued. Some other reasons are what I just explained, that due to high competitive market, certification gives you edge over other competitive partners. Additional skills are always looked with respect in the boardroom. Okay, if you are a project manager and if you have NIBOSH certification as well, you have additional respect in terms of your competency. So people will look to you with more admiration, and they will your thoughts and your decision will be well received by them. One of the another reasons of doing certification these days are the ISO requirement to meet the competency clause by the employer. The employer has to demonstrate to the auditor that we have so much competent people in our team, and they are looking for these programs. Another reason could be the certified people have the ability to lead initiatives with confidence and authority, because what they are saying is they have a reference available with them of international best practices or international certification which they have got. So these are the some reasons which I have found why certifications are so much in demand these days. If we talk about the CSCP, this is Certified Electrical Safety Compliance Professional Certification. It is based on NFPA 70 2018, which is the updated standard in the field of electrical safety, which is NFPA 70 is standard for electrical safety in workplace. Updated version is NFPA 2018. CSCP is the only professional qualification of its kind to document proficiency in the field of NFPA 70. The NFPA CSCP certification program is designed to meet the needs of not only the electrical professional, but also the safety professional who oversees electrical safety program or who manage engineers, contractors, electricians, and other personnel exposed to electrical hazards. So basically the CSCP people are those who have the responsibility of designing, of establishing the electrical safety program within the complete safety program of the organization. The organization might have a complete safety program in which they have H2S safety program, they have a height to work safety program, how to enter into a hazardous area, different safety program. In that safety program, the electrical safety program will be separate and will be a part of complete safety program of the organization. Why industry should have a separate electrical safety program, we will going to discuss in coming slides. Another certification in this domain is electrical safety worker, which is CESW. This is also based on NFPA 70 2018, but it is designed to meet the needs of electrician and other professionals who perform hands-on electrical work. The first one was a kind of leadership certification, which is CSCP. CSW is basically designed for people who go to the site to do the hands-on work, to be more aware of the electrical hazards present to their nature of the work. Third type is CSCT, Certified Electrical Safety Technician Certification. This certification is for skilled workers who are not electricians, but who are exposed to electrical work in the course of their duties. Let's suppose HVAC technicians or solar or some installer maintenance people who does not do work on the live parts, but they are a part of team in which the technicians and engineers are working on the live parts or energized work. So they must be certified minimum to CSCP so that they know about the hazards in their workplace or what the hazard is associated with their task. So these are the three certifications based on NFPA 70 2018 available from United States NFPA. Now moving to topic 2 of our webinar is CSCP Certified Electrical Safety Compliance Professional. How you can become eligible for this certification? What are the eligibility requirements? So there are different tables available in this certification program. I will share with you CSCP handbook to the participants and also in our group. First, table number 1 is for all the candidates. And it's mandatory to have as a prerequisite before going into CSCP. One of the requirement is you must have completed a minimum 40 years of electrical safety training from different sources in your last 3 years. If your training is before 2017 and if you want to appear in 2020 for the CSCP, that will not be counted. So you have one, or if you have done 40 hours of training in 2020, so you have a time lead of 2022 to appear for the CSCP exam. So after completing your 40 hours of training, you have 3 years to register your application for CSCP exam and go for the training. So where you can find these training materials? These trainings are available on the NFPA 70 website. There are trainings available. You can join different types of webinars. There are a variety of trainings might be provided by the approved training providers of NFPA. So you will have those training under your belt. Once you have completed the 40 hours, you will check this table number 1 requirement as a prerequisite. First requirement is met. Second requirement for the electricians who are licensed electricians with 4 years of verifiable work experience and completing the 40 hours, they are eligible for the exam. They will going to check mark this 2 box and they will directly go for the exam. For the electrical engineers, you have to complete the 40 hours of training as a prerequisite. Then you should have associate degree with 4 years of experience, or you should have a bachelor's degree or higher with 2 years of experience. If these 2 boxes are ticked, you can apply for the exam. Or if you are a licensed professional engineer. Third is for the candidates who are not electricians or not electrical engineers, but who are safety professionals like CSCP, who have a CSCP under their belt, or who are NEBOSH certified, or other certification they have. They should have a 3 years of verifiable working experience with electrical power systems. Plus, they should have a 40 hours of training requirement as a prerequisite. Once these 2 boxes are checked out, they can apply for CSCP exam. There are other requirements you can see or and or. I'm briefly going through this. We will going to share the presentation and we will be available for individual QD who are further eligible for these certification programs. So there are table 1 to 4, and you must fall in between table number 1 to 4. Table number 1 is mandatory, which says that you have to complete 40 hours of electrical safety training, plus table number 2 or table number 3 or table number 4. Once these requirements are met, you will then go for the online registration of exam. You will pay $350 USD initial program application to NFPA, excluding any training fees which you will going to pay for the training providers or other for completion of your 40 hours. This is not included in this one. Once you have $340 paid, they will send you a link to select your testing location as per your geographical location. So they have contact the Pearson testing provider, just like IELTS and PT. So you will go there. It is a computer-based exam. You will have 110 questions and you will have 3 hours to complete. Once you pass, the result is pop up simultaneously and it shows that you have successfully passed your exam. Once you have cleared your exam, you have 3 years validity of that certification, and at the end of 3 years you have to gain 50 CPDs with $150 for the recertification. In any case, if you fail the exam for the first try, you have to reset for the exam with and the charges are $300. The same training which you have gained, the 40 hours of training, is still same for this reset exam. You don't have to take another 40 hours of training. That is valid. So how you will go for the recertification point? There are minimum, you have to meet 50 points. They have given many options to attain that 50 points. Classroom or online training in the field of electrical safety, or if you have attended some conferences, that will give you points. If you are instructing or lecturing by certification holders, that what I'm doing right now, because I'm planning to conduct this 40 hours so that I will be able to renew my certification in 2022. Publications, you can have a publication, you can write a book. That are the different points available by which you can get your 50 points for the recertification process. So topic number 3 is roadmap to CSCP. How you will going to achieve your CSCP, Certified Electrical Safety Compliance Professional Certification. This is my roadmap to CSCP. I did more than 11. I have only showed here 11. I did more than 11 certification program. 4 to 5 I have not shown here. I completed more than 66 hours of training. Only 40 hours of training were required, and I spent more than 7,000 to 8,000 dirham on this certification program because I knew the importance of this certification program. So in order to go for any certification program, you should have the vision and the target in your mind, why you will go for this certification. And this took me, if you see, it took me from 2017, and I appeared in exam in 2019, end of 19. Approximately 2.5 years it took me to go for the certification, final certification exam. This is what I got last year in 2019, and it's valid till 2022, December 15. So what are the benefit and advantages of having CSCP? Why I went for this certification program? First of all, if as per the LinkedIn, if you go today and search on the CSCP on the LinkedIn, worldwide there are less than 300 people you will find on LinkedIn who are CSCP certified. So that means the importance of the certification is very high. And if you see their title, they are managers and instructor level or consultant level people, are reliability level people who are CSCP certified. They does not have to be with a background of engineering only. If you see Charles, he's professional engineer, he is a project manager, he's working as a reliability engineer, but he is also a CSCP. So today task is for you all people, go on the LinkedIn, search with the CSCP worldwide. You will not find more than 300 people all over the world. Another advantage of having CSCP is that in the MENA region, if we talk about Saudi Arabia, you will find only 2 or 3 people CSCP certified. And in our last program, we had one candidate who attended our webinar, and he had written that he has CSCP. So that's why it's showing 3 here, but 2 are CSCP certified. One is working in Ibn Rushd and one is working in Saudi Arabia. This is Saudi Arabia, only 2 people are certified right now. In MENA region, I'm certified, and one of my colleagues, Sunny Bhatti, who is an Australian national, he is certified CSCP. In Oman, there is only one certified person available. I've searched Qatar, I've searched Egypt, I've searched Iraq, other area, other Gulf region, and GCC. I did not find CSCP certified people there. So that means having a CSCP will make you stand out from the crowd. If you have title like CSCP and under your belt, that will distinguish you. Like if you see designation of the people in this short snapshot which I have taken, they are the leading people in their organizations. If we talk about job market, I will share in the last because if I click here, it might cause some problems. So I will show that the job market is there, but right now the job market is in US and Canada. But you know that things flow from United States to Middle East very fast, and soon it will be in high demand. CSCP will be in high demand. So you people might be the first in this race to have a CSCP and to have an impact in your current organization and also in your career. What are the future options available? What are the freelancing options and opportunities can be created by having a CSCP? If you have a CSCP certification and you combine it with your lead auditor certification of ISO 45000, lead auditor and lead implementer, so and you have some audit experience, electrical safety audit, so you can become an electrical safety advisor, electrical safety trainer, instructor, an auditor, consultant, and implementer. With COVID-19, things have turned positive for professional as well. If I talk right now, I am being contacted from Czech Republic or Europe as a freelancer to give webinars and presentation on different topics. Before that, you have to go in person to conduct such webinars or training programs. So the future is more and more distance learning and distance consultancy providing and technical sharing. So if you have additional skills available with you, there are chances and there are high chances that you can be one of them for your current organization, and also you can add value to other organization as well. So what you will be doing as a CSCP holder in your organization, if I talk about your current organization in which you are working, you will be a subject matter expert in the field of electrical safety. You will be the one to whom the people will turn for expert opinion. You will be developing the electrical safety program. You will be participating in benchmarking, in establishing and implementing best practice in electrical safety domain. You will be creating awareness, and you will be playing your part in changing human behavior. You will be conducting training and development of personnel exposed to electrical hazards. And additionally, you will be auditing electrical safety program, implementation, its effectiveness, and you will be responsible to bring the electrical hazards to its lowest level present in your current organization. For example, there was a survey conducted by NFPA of 1,200 electricians, and it was found that 97% of the electrician has experienced shock throughout their career. 26% have witnessed electrical injury, and 58% has exposed to electrical hazard in their career. So that means there are maybe electrical safety program not well written, not well communicated or implemented. So there are some gaps. So this type of thing you can do. You can conduct a survey in your organization from engineers, from electricians, from contractors, from managers, and you can find, are there any potential of electrical injury in your organization? You will play an active part in communicating the hazard associated with your work. Normally, the people only consider that electrical hazard is only pertaining to electrical shock. Many electricians, many engineers, many safety professionals does not know that electric shock is only one part of electrical hazard. There is arc flash, there is arc blast, there is burn energy associated. So once you have information and knowledge about NFPA 70E standards and electrical safety hazards, so you will be in a good position to create awareness among your technical people. You will be responsible to minimize the downtime due to uh, wrong procedures or people not following the electrical safety work practices, which might cause you a lengthy downtime of organization. Maybe there are some work which need to be performed in shutdown mode, but due to uh, some pressure or some urgency or some behavioral issue of your electrician and engineers, they want to go for a live work which was not justified, which can cost an unscheduled which caused an arc flash or arc blast and cause an unscheduled shutdown of unknown duration. So you will be saving a lot of money for your organization. You will be saving human life as well. These are something which happened. Why this happened? There might be a problem with your technical team, your technical staff having extra experience or having more experience, and they are thinking that this task could have been done on the live part because they have been doing for last 5 years or 10 years. But as per the policy, it says that this task need to be done while you have created an electrically safe work condition. So this means that you have an established electrical safety program, but its implementation is not effective. So once you have a knowledge about this standard, you will, and if in your organization, if there is established electrical safety program, then you will go for its auditing, your implementation, the effectiveness. Why this? We are talking about electrical hazard, just a safety triangle comparison of NFPA. If you have other hazards available in your organization, and as compared to the electrical safety hazard, this is the reason why I told you in the starting that in the organization has a safety program for other hazards, they should have dedicated electrical safety program for electrical hazard, because other hazard, let's suppose from slip, trip, or from falling from the height, for the fatality. But if you have an electrical hazard available, if your organization have an electrical hazard, then if you have and you have a 10 recordable injury, then the chances of fatality is 1. So just a comparison, that 300 is to 1 and 10 is to 1. This says how much focus you should be on your electrical hazards which are present in your facility. So moving forward to topic number 5, how to crack CSCP in first attempt. This is on the left. This is the standard book, NFP 70, Standard for Electrical Safety in the Workplace 2018. Um, this is the book from which the complete exam will come. It has around 90 or 100 pages, including appendix and other chapters. The exam is from the standard. On the right, there is a handbook with details about the standard. Exam covers the topics from chapter number 1, which is safety related work practice, chapter number 2, which is safety related maintenance requirement, chapter number 3, which is another additional information is provided, which is informative and access. Hello, Mr. Ahmed, am I audible?
Yeah, loud and clear. Please proceed.
Okay, I think we had some problem, disconnection. Okay, the exam is covered from chapter number 1, 2, and 3, which are basically the requirement of NFPA 70. And informative annexure is, it will give you an additional information about most best practices available and how to implement chapter
Mr.
number
Vasif,
1. Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. We cannot see your presentation right now. Kindly please share your screen once again.
Okay. Please.
Yes.
Now it's visible.
Yes, it's visible now.
Okay, I think I had some connection issue here. So there are 3 chapters, chapter number 1, 2, and 3, which contains the requirements, and your knowledge, your skills, your previous experience is tested on chapter number 1 and 2 and 3. Chapter number and informative and access is provided as additional, which contains a very good information. So how the exams look like? It has 5 major parts, and these are approximate percentage given in the CSCP handbook as well. The first part, test your knowledge about employment responsibility. It is further divided into A, B, C, and D parts. The exam does not come like this. It has mixed questions of 110, which will cover this all 5 major domains, but it will going to test your knowledge, your understanding about the standards, and it will also test how what type of decision you will going to take in different scenarios. So implement the employment safety program, how you will going to implement the employer electrical safety program, how you will going to recognize the electrical safety program audit requirements, identify the requirements for job briefing, recognizing requirement for host employer and contractor relations. So it does not only test your knowledge regular organization, but they interact with you frequently. They might be coming from outside of organization to perform certain tasks, or job for a short period of time. So what type of training you have to conduct, what type of information you have to share. Second part is understand the electrical safety work practices, which cover 20% of the exam. Third part is identify the requirements of establishing an electrical safe work condition. How will you carry out an electrical safe work condition? How will you carry out the shutdown procedure, logout, tagout? How many people are involved in this task? The fourth part, which contains the majority of portion of this exam, which around 35%, is identification of the precautionary techniques for work involving electrical hazard. How you will going to proceed for the energized electrical work. And the last part is basically understanding different type of requirements related to the documentation, what should be in electrical safety program, how you will going to conduct and host and contractor meeting, what are the training requirements, how you will going to document your training, how frequent you will going to audit that electrical safety audit, how frequently you will conduct the electrical safety audit. What is the requirement in electrical energized work permit? What is the requirement as per NFPA 70 and NFPA 70, which is NEC, the equipment labeling requirement? How you will going to conduct the incident energy analysis, single line diagrams requirements, the maintenance test and inspections requirement. So these will be covered in part number 5, which makes around 10% of your exam. Some questions I want to share right now, like question number, some sample question. What is the purpose of NFPA 70? If you remember the first slides, we have gone through this, that one of the purpose of NFPA 70E2 is to provide a safe work related to the electrical hazards, or it could be reduced downtime. I've shared one picture with you, which says that it could have save downtime, lower cost, or avoid points. So the basic purpose of NFPA 70 is to provide a practical safe work condition related to the electrical hazards. Okay, the others will come in conjunction, but the main purpose is to provide a practical safe working area related to electrical hazard. So you should have a broader knowledge of this standard as well as a specific knowledge of this standard to answer these questions in exam. In which part of NFPA 70E you find that electrical maintenance requirement? So it was covered in chapter number 2. It's covered in chapter number 2. Chapter number 1 is for the best practices. Chapter number 2 is for the safety related maintenance requirement, and chapter number 3 is for special equipment. So you should know the scope, you should know the purpose, you should know which chapters are what purpose and where the things are. I want to add one thing here, that the exam is open book. You can carry the original NFPA 70E hard copy with you in exam. So you don't have to memorize all the things, but you have to clear your concept. Your concept should be clear to answer these questions. Some type of questions is OSHA enforce NFPA 70. That means OSHA says that you have to implement 70, NFPA 70. No, OSHA does not say you have to implement 70E. OSHA is another body which says which gives you a generic information that you should provide a safe work environment for your employees. NFPA 70 says how you will going to provide that safe environment. Okay, in case there is some incident happen or there is some fatality has happened, and if the OSHA comes in their facility and says, just show me what steps you have taken to safeguard your employees, and if the employer is smart enough, or he is able to demonstrate that he has implemented NFPA 70E clauses, so OSHA will going to accept that as against the charge, or as information, or as a supporting evidence that employer took all the measures from his end. After that, this incident happened. But OSHA does not enforce that you have to implement NFPA 17. This is the concept between this one. Some values will be asked. So it's an open book exam. So you have exam available. You can go through the pages. So you should know where the topic is. Where the topic is, like arcing fault creates a conductive plasma that can reach over 30 that can reach over dash degrees Fahrenheit. So it's 35,000 degree Fahrenheit. So it will be written somewhere in the standard in the 100 pages. So you should know where that information is available. Number 5 is which of the following statements about unqualified person is true. So you will be given a 4 or 5 options. In this, the option number 2 is okay. There are many concepts here: restricted approach boundary, limited approach boundary. We will going to discuss in details when we will be having a focus training sessions on this program. So the idea to give you a brief touch of this sample exam question is that there will be some questions who will be testing your knowledge, your experience, your understanding about the standard, and there will be some questions in which you have to go to the standard to pick the value directly, which will be a table based questions. So during our training program, we will going to practice that questions as well. So how the HSCQ professional can be your partner in road to CSCP if you are a CSCP aspirant and if you want to go for the CSCP. We claim that there is right now there is very few organizations who have the capability to deliver the CSCP training program. We have developed a number of training courses to help you in your journey, starting with electrical safety for engineers and supervisors, which is designed for the 10 hours course, following with the arc flash risk assessment, impact control and safety, developing of electrical safety program, electrical safety audit, electrical safety at workplace, and a P70E. These are small training which we are running since 2017 and 18 and onwards. And now we have developed an electrical safety specialist course, which is accredited from OSHA Academy, and it is designed for 40 hours. It is based on NFPA 70 2018 approach. This is accredited by OSHA Academy and authorized by HSCQ professionals, which are the authorized training provider, ATP, of OSHA Academy. This certification, this course is also recognized by NFPA. After completing this 40 hours of training, there are 2 parts. If this serves your requirement of having a high level of knowledge in the domain of electrical safety, you can stop your journey here. That is a valuable certificate to have, a 40 hours of occupational training course authorized by OSHA Academy and provided by HSCQ professionals. But if you want to go to the next step for the CSCP, this certification is also recognized by NFPA, and it was recognized on the 15th of April 2020. That I will going to read this. The training you provide has been evaluated and deemed acceptable toward the 40 hours of electrical safety training in past 3 years. So it is accredited by OSHA Academy, recognized by NFPA, and it will be conducted by HSCQ professional, inshallah. So I just want to give a brief introduction about the course, what we will be doing, what we'll be having in this 40 hours. The course modules are designed to help you identify electrical safety hazards in the workplace, and you will be able to reduce or eliminate employee exposure to those hazards. It will provide a thorough knowledge of the recommended best practice for those who work around electrical safety hazards as per the NFPA 70 2018 guideline. The attendees will gain an understanding of the latest guidelines and regulation of not only NFPA 70, NEC, IEC, IEEE 1584, and OSHA as well. Electrical workers and safety professionals will learn key practical information, best practices in the electrical safety, and how to apply them in the real world. And finally, if you want if you have aspirant and if you want to go for the CSCP exam or CSW or CSCT exam, uh, this course will going to prepare you for all these. Some of the learning objectives during this course of 40 hours, you will identify various electrical hazards in the workplace, not only shock hazard. You will become familiar with arc flash hazard, arc glass hazard, the burn injury, how close you can go, close proximity. Learn about safe work practices working on or near energized equipment. You will learn how to create an electrical safe work condition. You will know about the requirement of the energized work or energized work permit. Like most of the people does not know that beyond 50 volts only, you have to have energized work permit to perform any task as per NFPA 70E. Below 50 volts, and if the source does not have enough capacity to cause an burn or arc flash, then only the energized work is permitted. How to perform the table-based risk assessment units using NFPA 70E. We will going to learn this one. The concept of the limited approach boundary for the unqualified employees and the public safety. Excuse me. The restricted approach boundary for the qualified employee. The arc flash boundary for the qualified employee working on the live system, and how to choose the personal protective equipment based on NFPA 70E. These are some of the learning objectives which one will going to learn throughout this course. So finally, who should go for the CSCP and CSW? If you are an electrical engineer, you are electrical manager, you are technician, you are supervisor, you are safety leader, risk manager, or you are ASP and CSCP certified and looking for the next highest certification in your area, if you are NIBOS certified, or if you are ISO 45 lead auditor, and if you want to have more information about the electrical hazards which are present in general industries, which are present in construction industries, in oil and gas. So this certification is perfect for you. So for further information and further queries about this course and how and when we will going to start, you can reach us at the training@hscqprofessionals.net. You can WhatsApp, you can call to have more details about this training program. Before closing, as I told you earlier that we will going to have some information on job opportunities and what type of people who are going for the CSCP. I think it's taking some time. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm just showing this course outline, which is approved from OSHA, accredited from OSHA Academy, and which is recognized from NFPA. This is a 40 hours course designed for CSCP, CSW, and CSCP preparatory course. So the course outline in module number 1, we will be introducing electrical safety at workplace. Then we will be digging down what are the electrical hazards available and how to perform the analysis, explain hazards related to the shock, arc flash, arc glass, and we will explain how time and current affect the magnitude of the electrical hazards and other concepts. Then module number 3, we are still making the base of this course. We will be talking about the electrical safety fundamentals. We will be talking about the OSHA and NFPA 70E relation between each other. These are the questions which comes in exam. What are the electrical safety program components? How you will going to identify the components? How you will have employer responsibility, and you will fix the employer and employee responsibility in that in electrical safety program. Then how you will going to establish an electrical safe work condition, and if it's not feasible to create an electrical safe work condition, what are the steps to be taken to perform work on the live electrical system. If the work required to be performed on the live electrical system, what are the personal protective equipments are required? How equipment maintenance is related to safety, to electrical safety of the people who are working around the equipment. Hazard recognition for some special equipment, like for telecommunication, for uh, high frequency equipment, and battery rules. Then we will be discussing some concept about layering for protective clothing and total system of the arc welding. If we have let's suppose 12 cal per centimeter square arc flash suit, and if we wear another 12, so it makes 24. Does it make 24, or this is not 2 plus 2? So these are the concepts which we will going to discuss in the module number 10. Moving forward, the module number 11 is for industrial procedures and policies for working near overhead lines and equipment. Then we will be discussing something safety related design requirements, which is as a part of NEC, National Electric Code, uh, how you should design your system to minimize the electrical hazard uh, at the design stage. Then human performance and electrical safety. This is one of the major uh, concern, and this is one of the major causes of electrical incidents in the workplace. The final assessment will be of 60 minutes, and you have to score a 70% to get the certificate of OSH Academy. I would just want to clear that after having this course and passing off with a mark of 70%, you will get a 40 hours of electrical safety specialist certificate, which is accredited by OSH Academy. And if you want to continue your journey, you can reach NFPA within 3 years of getting the certificate to go for the CSCP exam. Some of the jobs which are present, which require the CSCP, is EHS training specialist, regional safety manager, training and development specialist, electrical safety manager, electrical safety compliance professional, regional safety coordinator, electrical safety professional. So these are example of some jobs which required CSCP as the criteria. If you say, just give me more 2 or 3 minutes, I will add in. In this EHS training specialist, it says that at least one safety qualification designation and CSCP and CUSCP certified utility safety professional is a requirement, or if you are having an ASP. So for qualified to be as a regional safety manager, you will find here as a requirement of certified safety compliance professional from National Fire Protection Association. So I will share this one. So you can also search websites, and you can also find what are the certification programs available in the domain of electrical safety for your particular region, and how it will going to boost your career. Thank you. Thank you from my side. If you have further questions, just ask. I will try to, inshallah, respond to the best of my knowledge.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wasif. It was really wonderful learning. Let's start the Q&A session. Well, Mr. Salahuddin said this training in OSH Academy accredited, offered by HACQ professional. Am I right? Yes. How to avail this training? So, Mr. Wasif, please answer this question.
We have scheduled this training from 10th of May. Those who are interested can send me message or can approach Ahmed or our email addresses, which I have. You can reach at training@hacqprofessional.net, or you can WhatsApp us for the further details. So we have scheduled this from 10th of May, and it will be online a class for 10 to 15 days. starting with 10th of May, and we have a schedule for 21st May, but I know that this course will take more time, and we might be ending this course with after Eid maybe. It will depend upon the understanding of concepts of the people, and inshallah, it will be covered as a live instructor class.
Will it be a 4 hours session for Delhi, Mr. Wasif?
We have put it for 2 hours because of the time zone difference. I will be starting at 10 here and will be ending at 12. So in Saudi Arabia, it will be from 9 to 11, and in Pakistan, it will be from 12 to 2. So
All
due
right.
to the time zone, we have put it, we have restricted this training for 10 years, and after that, maybe after Ramadan, we can go for 4 hours.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you. Next question is, I have a question, sir. What is the maximum acceptable electrical volts in the workplace?
It's depend upon in which type of environment you are working. Maximum could be a 400 kV. We have a line of 400 kV, and the minimum, the NFPA says that you have to have minimum 50 volts and above. Then you can work on you cannot work on the live system. You have to create an electrical safe work condition. 50 volts as a criteria.
All right,
So
50 volts. Thank you.
is a minimum criteria, and maximum it could be when we will going to discuss this course. There is a table which has a limited approach boundary and restricted approach boundary, and it goes to 700 kV.
All right, thank you. Please explain eligibility criteria, exam question, passing ratio required for prepare for SSCP exam. Umar Mukhtar, I guess Umar is with us. He's asking.
Eligibility criteria I have discussed in detail in topic number 2, and we will going to send this presentation. So eligibility criteria contains of 4 tables, table number 1 to 4. Table number 1 is mandatory. You have that says that you have to have minimum 40 hours of electrical safety training under your belt. If you take this one, go to the area which you belong to. If you are an electrician, this table belongs to you. If you are an electrical engineer, the table number 3 belongs to you. That means if you have a bachelor's degree or higher and you have 2 years of work experience in electrical power systems or related field work, you take both this box, and then you can go for the directly CSCP exam. If you are not electrician, not electrical engineer, but you are a safety professional having a CSCP, NEBOSH, ASP or CSCP certification, and you are working in safety field as a safety manager, safety professional, risk manager, so you have to show that you have 3 years of working experience in the field of electrical power system plus table number 1, and you are eligible for exam.
All right, thank you. Yes, thank you so much for the deep explanation, Mr. Wasif. Really appreciate it. Next question. The training which will you conduct from 10th May to 21st May, is arc flash study is a part of that course or not?
Yeah, we have designed this course to cover all the previous training provided individually. So this 40 hours will be a merger, and it will cover arc flash, how you will develop an electrical safety program, what are the requirements of electrical safety audit, and NFPA complete requirements. So our main challenges was to have this 40 hours designed and approved from OSHA Academy and NFPA. Alhamdulillah, last month we did this one. So all these individual courses have been combined for your easiness, and now it is more cost effective as compared to having a 40 hours training taken from different sources. I shared my experience that it took me around 2.5 years to have around this 40 hours, 60. I did more than 66 hours completed with an expense of more than 7,000 to 8,000 dirhams, in which I purchased soft copy of book, hard copy of books, of standard, of handbook as well, and the different trainings. So it was very expensive for me because I did not have any clue how to go for it. Now, being a specialist in this domain, having passed this certification, I can guide you. And we have developed this 40 yard, which is very easy, and it is focused on how you will going to crack your CSV in first attempt.
Thank you so much. Any one of you ask any question, you can ask directly to Mr. Wasif. He is online with us. Let me just unmute all of you so you can ask your question one by one.
One by one, brother.
Please, anyone have a question?
You can raise your hand as well, and I will unmute you accordingly. Or you can also unmute your own self to ask the question. Any question?
Mr. Vasu.
Yes, Mr. Nasir.
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Vasu, these all question answer in multiple question answer, or we need to write some details?
I have just joined meeting a few minutes ago, so I understand the meeting agenda.
You're joining quite late. It was electrical safety, the agenda, and I think Nasir was also asking about the exam pattern. Is it MC multiple choice question or
Yes.
Hello, can you repeat question number 3 from frequent asked questions that you showed on the presentation?
Mr. Wasif, are you with us?
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, loud and clear.
I will
Mr.
first,
Nasir was asking the question that what will be the exam pattern? Either it will be MCQs based, or we need to describe in the words or any explanation or something in the words.
100% exam will be MCQs based. 110 questions, you will have 4 choices or 5 choices, and one it will clearly says that one option is okay, or more than one can be correct. So you have to have your knowledge and skills to check box. There may be more than one answer is correct for the same condition. For example, if I say that, for example, if I say one question like, what are the characteristics of a qualified person? Option number one, a qualified person knows how to identify electrical hazards. Option number 2, qualified person knows how to select his personal protective equipment. Option number 3 is qualified person knows how to restrict unqualified person from a workspace. Option number 4 is qualified person knows how to drink water, for example. So in this 4 example, the top 3 are okay, are right, are as per NFPA 70E standard. 4th is also okay, but in the context of NFPA 70E standard, it's not valid. So you will select first 3, and if you select only 2, your answer will be wrong. So some questions will be tricky. They will going to test your knowledge. They will going to test your understanding, and some questions are situational based. For example, NFPA 70E says that if you are sent for a particular job in a field, and the scope of the work changes during your execution, you cannot just simply go and do that other job. You have to do the risk assessment again, and you have to take the permission and energize work permit again. For example, if an electrician went for a job for the tightening of the screw of some switch gear or circuit breaker, sorry, and if he says that there is some cable terminal is also loose, so he will not go and fix that cable terminal. So this whole question will be a scenario based. So if it says that, is he allowed to do that work? No, he does not. So questions will be MCQs. They will be true and false as well.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Fine, Islam.
Yes, Mr. Wasim, how to apply the exam, and also what about the centers in Saudi? Exam centers, I mean.
Once you have completed your 40 hours of electrical safety training and you
Okay.
have met the requirement of table number 2, 3, or 4 as per your background, you will go to the NFPA website online. There is an option.
For example, sorry for interruption. For example, if I am an electrical engineer, as it was mentioned that for electrical engineer, valid certificate plus the experience certificate, right?
Yes.
Valid the degree certificate plus experience certificate. So with that, the 40 hours of training, where I can apply?
Yes. First, you have to meet the 40 hours of training requirement. Second, if you are an electrical engineer, you falls on table number 3, sorry, which is for electrical engineers, and you should have a verifiable work experience of 2 years, minimum 2 years. So you will go online to the NFP website and you will launch your application. Once they approve your application, you will going to pay $350 for exam fees to them. They will send you an acceptance of the fees and with a link to choose a training center near you. So they are partnering with Pearson and other training providers for arrangement of trainings, just like IELTS and PT. So you will select a nearest training center which currently from your location. Like Jubel Industrial College has a facility when I was in Saudi Arabia. So that so only the testing center was in Jubel. So now might be there are more training centers available in Jeddah as well, in Riyadh as well. And UAE now we have 3 to 4 training centers available. In Pakistan also in Karachi, I sent an email. There is a training center in Karachi, in Islamabad, and other places as well.
Okay, thank you. In the lockdown period, is there any chance of they will conduct exam, or else?
You have to personally appear for the exam. So it will take around 3 to 4 months for you to get ready for the exam after the training as well. You have to have a good understanding of the standards. We will cover in the 40 hours, but it's good if you spend a good time in understanding the concept and give your best shot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there was one question: is ArcFlash studies a part of this course? There are 2 types of ArcFlash study. One is a computer-based ArcFlash study, and another one is a table-based ArcFlash study. Yes, the NFPA 70E table-based ArcFlash study is a part of exam, is a part of questions, and you will be asked to conduct a table-based method. And the ArcFlash study, which is present in the annexure, it is only for the information, and it will not come in the exam, that you have to calculate some values. So they will say that you have to bring the calculator. For me, when I appeared in exam 3 to 4 months back, there were no single questions which required a calculation. So the computer-based ArcFlash study is not required, or manual ArcFlash study is not required. Only table-based method ArcFlash study. Any other questions?
Thank you so much. Anyone else who want to ask the question so we can wind up this session?
Yes, Mr. Wasif. Just I will ask only this for the 40-hour electrical training safety course. Training fees. Can you explain this?
We have launched, the market value of this course is about 3,000. As a first course, we are launching this with a discount of, I think, 30-25%, and it is available on our WhatsApp group, and I will going to share with you. We are launching this training program for 2,000 with a discount of 5% for the group of 3 or more people. For further details and discounts and scheduling of fees and how to pay, you can reach our training coordinator, and you can also email.
So these classes will be virtual classes only on the online classes?
It will be same like this webinar. It will be a
Like
live,
every
meet-
every day 2 hours like webinar only, huh?
2 hours webinar plus some homework and some practice reading task will be, and it will be interactive. It will not be a boring. We will be discussing life situations, scenarios. I will be learning from number of people because I've no work experience of oil and gas, so I want to know how they are doing. I have expertise in distribution, transmission in general, and construction industry, so I will be sharing examples of this one. So it will not be a textbook type of course. Many examples, discussions, and it will clear your concept of NFPA 70E requirements, and it will eventually will prepare you for the certification exam.
Okay, what about the HSEQ affiliation with the NFPA? Is it affiliated with that?
No, NFPA, it is not affiliated with NFPA. What we have shown that this is an OSH Academy 40 hours of
Just my main is only this during appearing in exam of NFPA main exam. Will they accept this certificate provided by you?
this is the answer. They have the training you provided has been evaluated and deemed acceptable towards 40 hours of electrical safety training in the past 3 years. They will going to accept it, inshallah. And if there's some problem arises, we are here. We are here to face that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wasif.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Hello.
Walaikum salam.
Sir, I have a question. I have joined this webinar too much late, and I want to tell you that I am doing chemical engineering from NED. So I want to ask that this webinar belongs to me or not, because I have not seen the criteria and the topics of this webinar.
Okay. On the WhatsApp group, you have my number. You can reach me after closing this session. I will going to explain you one by one to one. Sorry.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
And sir,
Giving answer to the previous question.
Furthermore, recording of this session will on.
Further to the last question, will the OSH Academy will going to accept our certificate or not? This is my certification towards the CSP. If you see that I have done the electrical safety at workplace from HSEQ professionals, then electrical safety technicians and supervisors provided by HSEQ professionals. So there are certification which 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6 in my 66, which was accepted by NFPA towards this 40 hours. So definitely it will be accepted. In other case, we are here to solve that matter, inshallah.
What about the study materials?
The study material will contain NFPA 70 standard book and practical forms like how you will going to complete the electrical energized work permit, log or tag out forms, and other form which is a standard NFPA 70 along with NFPA 70 soft copy will be sent to you.
Okay, the questions are asked as per the syllabus, instance as per the study material they have provided, or it will be open.
Can you please come again? I have missed your point. Can you please ask again?
Hello?
Yeah. Can you please ask again? I have missed your question.
The questions which the exams is going to ask is based on the syllabus which they have provided, or the question is general?
The practice questions. I just told you that it will be a very interactive type of inshallah the 40 hours. We have a bank of more than 150 or 200 questions, and we will not only rely on that 200 questions. We will dig each and every clause of NFPA 70E, and we will going to brainstorm how the questions will come. So you will not be dependent on that you will be looking for question number A to appear in exam. There is no one can claim that they have a question set of exam. That is not possible. we will going to share how the questions can come and how you will going to give the answer by having a holistic approach to the electrical safety and also having a deep knowledge and interpretation of the clauses and the requirements of NFPA.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Sir, I am Arshad from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, welcome.
Sorry for late joining. First of all, I am very thankful to you that you have take good initial for all the safety professionals. So can you tell me that what's the requirement for, I am not the electrical engineer, just I am working as a safety field. So please, can you tell me what's the requirements and in Saudi Arabia, where I can approach you?
Where you can approach me. This is your question, or how it is relevant to you?
How it is relevant to me and how can I approach you? Both questions.
For approaching, we are conducting this training program of 40 hours starting from the 10th of May, and it will go from till 21st of May. Every day, 2 hours, the training course will be conducted via live session from 10 to 12.
Like webinar, like today.
Like today, it will be interactive, same as this webinar. And we are restricting our first batch to a minimum people so that we have a high interaction level available, possible. Okay. For being from safety professional, for the CSAP, you have to meet the table number 1 requirement, which says that you have to have a 40 hours of electrical safety training, especially electrical safety training once. And if you are an electrician, you have to meet the requirement of table number 2. If you are an electrical engineer, you have to meet the requirement of table number 3. Or just like you are other candidates like electrical engineer, you are not engineer or electrician. So you are a safety professional, so you have to show that you have 3 years of verifiable work experience with electrical power system. Plus table number 1. Once you meet this requirement, you are eligible for CSAP exam.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much, all of you, for being with us and attending this webinar. I would like to thank all of you who joined electrical safety training, which will be start from 10th May to 21st May, as Mr. Wasif has already informed you. If you are interested, do send us your query at training@hscqprofessional.net. That is also visible on your mobile and laptop screen as well. It's training@hscqprofessionals.net, and you can also have our WhatsApp number. So the recording of this webinar will be shared in the WhatsApp group as well. So you can listen it again, and you will get more information. Moreover, if you have any query, do contact with us. We will love to facilitate you. Mr. Wasif, in last, I would like to request you a message. You can give it to our participant.
Thank you all. Thank you all for joining this session. And I hope you will be having a good Ramzan and good time. It's 11:30 here in UAE. Stay at home and stay safe. See you inshallah soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Good night. Have a blessed Ramzan. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Stay home.